मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानम् अखिलाधारम् आश्रयेऽभीष्टसिद्धये. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor, may our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment, not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the indivisible, the existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, beyond the reach of words and thought, and the substratum of all, for the attainment of my cherished desire. So we have completed that de-superimposition. De-superimposition means we are somehow confused because of the influence of ignorance, ajnana. So ajnana, what is ajnana? That ajnana happens because of superimposition on something which is not. Atasmin tad buddhi. What it is not, it seems like that. So it is because of our ignorance. The stock example is snake in a rope. Though it is not a snake, but we see snake in a rope. We see water in a mirage. Similarly, there are so many, like on a screen we can see fire, but actually it's not fire. So whatever it looks like that, on something which is not that, so that is called superimposition. And de-superimposition means how to remove that superimposition. So ultimately we have seen like two kinds of seeing, how we see. Like this is a book. So what happens? Buddhi, we have intellect, and intellect has got a say like chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means we are conscious being. We are conscious being, and that consciousness is reflected in our intellect. So when we see this, what happens? Our mind goes and gets the impression. So buddhi, intellect, analyzes, what is this? Is this a book? So mind says, mind questions, what is this? Is it a book or a pen or a pencil or what it is? Then intellect says, it is a book because in my childhood I have seen it and somebody told me this is a book. So this memory we recollect. So our intellect functions because of our chidabhas. That consciousness, it is reflected in our intellect. So two things are there. One is it covers the whole book and it creates a wave. It's called vritti, mental modification. Mental modification. And then we analyze. How we analyze? Because of our reflection of consciousness in our intellect. So two things are there. One is one vritti, mental modification. Second, the reflection of awareness, consciousness through our intellect. So, what happens? Thus, it has been said, both the intellect and the consciousness underlying it come into contact with any object. The intellect destroys the ignorance regarding that object, and the underlying consciousness manifests that object. So awareness reveals. So this is one kind of perception, that means worldly object. What happens at the time of the knowledge of or awareness of Brahman itself, Brahma Jnana? So that time it happens that the awareness, the reflection of awareness comes from the source, and when we see the source, then there is no need of reflection. So both the statement, what the statement? That manasaiva eva aptavyam. It can be achieved through mind. And yan manasa na manute, which mind cannot perceive. Both contradictory term is reconciled. We need mind or intellect to first have that mental modification. But in the case of Brahman, it is the source. Therefore, source does not require reflection to reveal. Like the moon is not required to reveal sun, because from sun light is reflected through moon. Sun is light itself. Similarly, when we have that Brahma Jnana, then there is no need of mental modification or awareness of that, because it merges in it, like seeing your image in a mirror. But what happens if you remove mirror? Then you can see yourself as the source. So this is what we have studied. Therefore, now why this should be cultivated? This should be cultivated to see the truth. And for that we have Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This is the process. So, though it is avang manaso gocharam, though it is not perceived by this present mind, this present mind is full of dirt, dust, full of waves, that means it is flickering all the time, and also it is not oriented. So we need to orient this, we need to inspire our minds to see this, number one. Number two, it should be clean. That is why all the time chitta shuddhi, the purification of mind is prescribed. When we work for others, when we chant the glories of God, and when we cultivate knowledge, that time our mind becomes purified. Say like this, what we are discussing. As we concentrate, if we concentrate, then our mind becomes purified. We can see the truth. So, though it is avang manaso gocharam, that means it is not perceived by mind. Mind means this not purified mind, this dirty mind. So this should be cleansed. Number one, it should be calmed down. Say like if we want to see something which is lying under a sheath of water, if water is dirty, we cannot see it. And if the water is clean but it is in waves, that also we cannot see. So first we should clean the water, then it should not be in waves. And then when we want to see it, then we can see it. So similarly, our mind should be pure. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, pure mind, pure intellect, and pure self is one and the same thing. So avang manasa gocharam, but it cannot be indicated because this is the source. When you indicate outside. So that is why it is need to cultivate it. So how long it should be cultivated? That question is there. One should at least have the concept clear. Then the next is manana. But Shravana should be continuous. Sri Ramakrishna asked his guru, Totapuri, why you meditate? Now you are a Siddha yogi. Why you meditate? Then he showed his pot. He said, if I don't clean every day and polish every day, it will be dirty. So our mind, it is forgetful. Of course, once you achieve that, once you achieve the vastu means the goal, then you need not. Then you are free. But till you achieve the goal, this is to be cultivated. And this Shravana, it should be such that we should retain it. Sometimes people understand very quickly and forget also very quickly. And sometimes it takes long time to understand but forgets very quickly. But some people take less time to understand and they retain for longer time. So this is how one should hear this Shravana. And what we think here, whatever is the gist of Shastra, we want to cultivate that which is the gist of the scriptures. So that's how to extract meaning. After listening, it's not mechanical listening. Shravana. Shravana means listening. Shravana, listening, but it is to understand. One has to try to understand. So listening means to extract the meaning. It's not mechanical listening like sound. Some sound is coming. We should understand what is this sound meant for. So it's called pujita vichara. So whatever thought our rishis have cultivated, or we can say that they realized, rishayaha mantra drashtara, they saw, they realized the mantras, and then they expressed. Out of their, it is when its heart is full, then it came out. So we need to cultivate and retain that teaching. So that is called Shravana. So we have already gone through, and Shravana has got what is that we have to hear. Vedantanam advitiya vastuni tatparya avadharanam. So whatever Vedanta has said, that is 182. What Vedanta has said, to understand the meaning, what is that it says? That advitiya vastuni, it is non-dual and it is unique. So advitiya means both ways. That it is non-dual and also it is unique. You cannot find in marketplace. Rather, this is to be cultivated, and that is within us. It is not that outside it is. So, and it should be living by the reality. It is to be lived on. It is to be cultivated in such a way that it becomes part of it. You see, like learning music, what we do? We first cultivate sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, or do, re, ga, ma, whatever it is in Western music. And then one can sing, and then uh, he can, he or she can express his thought through music. So it is not only hearing and then we cannot repeat, not like that. It should be assimilated. That is very important. So it has, so what is that? What we are, that we are trying to cultivate? That we are divine ourselves. Each soul is potentially divine. We are Atma Swarupa. We are Brahma Swarupa. And that, what is that? Vedantanam Advitiya Vastuni, unique. So Vedanta is teaching that unique Vastu. And it has some mantras. When we go through those mantras, then we have to try to understand the meaning. What is being said in those statements, that we try to understand. So, what are these? Lingani. That's Shadavidha Linga. 6 types of things. What is that? Upakrama, Upasangha. If you write an essay, what you do? In the beginning you introduce. And at the end also you conclude. Same conclusion. Similarly, in this text also, we find in the beginning, same, beginning means not exactly first line, but in a relevant place. Then comes the main teaching, and at the end also the teaching is concluded. So upakrama, upasanhar, then abhyasa, and it will say again and again. It's like mom song. Mothers keep on saying the same thing over and over again. Instructs the child or word, repeating the same instructions. So this is called abhyasa. Then apurvata. Apurvata means this is unique. Nowhere else you find the teaching that you are the self. You are Brahman himself. And this is unique in Upanishad. And then phala. What is the fruit? Fruit is what, if you cultivate this, then you will attain this. And when you attain this, then nothing is like this. Knowing this, you know everything. What is that you know? And when you know this, you know everything. So this is the fruit that is explained. And then arthavad. Arthavad means like the praise. You know, if you do this, then what will happen? All the miseries will go away. And arthavad, upapatti. And what is the reason? You know, it's not without reason, without rhyme and reason. Rather, concrete reasoning is given to convince you. So these are 6 types of linga. Linga means signs, what the statements say. And if we go through this, then we can extract the meaning. So in a verse it is expressed very nicely. Upakrama, upasanhara, abhyaso, abhyasah, apurvata phalam, arthavad upapatti cha, lingam tatparya nirina. 184. Thus it has been said, in ascertaining the meaning, the characteristic signs are the beginning and the conclusion. Repetition, originality, result, eulogy, and demonstration. So what are those? Beginning and conclusion, number 1. Repetition, number 2. Originality, number 3. Result, number 4. Eulogy, number 5. And demonstration, number 6. So these are 6 signs that this statements says so. 6 characteristic signs. Okay. Then we read what is beginning and conclusion. An example is given in Chandogya Upanishad. In the beginning it is said, Ekam eva advitiyam. It is one and non-dual. So this is in the beginning, and then at the end, Aitad atmya midam sarvam ityantecha pratipadanam. Just I'll read. We have already discussed. The beginning and the conclusion mean the presentation of the subject matter of a section at its beginning and end. As for instance, in the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, Brahman, the one without a second, which is the subject matter of the chapter, is introduced at the beginning in the words one only without a second, and again at the end of the words it is all that exists, has its self, etc. So this is Upakrama Upasanhar. Now, why it is essential? You know that we have all the time, first we don't think about it. We are so engrossed in this world, we don't think about it. So it is called abhavana. So since we don't think about it, scriptures introduces something which we don't think. So that is required for hearing, Shravana. Something unique, something very special. Then Manana is required for removing all kinds of doubts. Because when we see, I am Brahman, Tattvamasi, you are Brahman, you are that, thou art that, then comes, how is it possible? Is it possible? So to remove that doubt, that means Viparit Bhavana. I am this body, I am this mind. This is Viparit Bhavana, means opposing thoughts. So to remove opposing thoughts, we need to have manana, negating all the opposite thoughts by logic, by experience. The three, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. First we hear Shruti. Yukti means all logic is applied to convince. And then third is Anubhuti. It should be established through our experience. If somebody says that this is sweet, then we need to taste it and find ourselves that it is sweet. So anyway, and asambhavana. Abhavana, first we don't think, and then not only we have asambhavana. It is not possible. Like, see, Tattvamasi, I am Brahman, you are Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. So first we have not heard about it. And then we hear, then we see it is not possible. Not only not possible, but we are body-mind. That is why we need to hear over and over again. And then manana, that means cogitation, contemplation, meditation, so that opposing thoughts are removed. So this is the threefold thing, that first we don't think, then even if we think, first we think it is not possible. Not only not possible, but we are not that. So to remove this, Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana is required. Now, second one we have already done, Prakana Pratipadyasya Vastuna. I read the English translation. Repetition is the frequent presentation of the subject matter in the section, as for instance, in the same section, Brahman, the one without a second, is repeated 9 times in the sentence, thou art that. Then comes Adviti Vastu. It is unique. Originality means that the subject matter of a section is not available through any other source of knowledge. It is only available in Upanishad. That's why we pray uh, whatever Upanishad has said, let that be assimilated in me. So, originality means that the subject matter of a section is not available through any other source of knowledge. As for instance, in that very section, Brahman, the one without a second, is not knowable through any other means except the Shrutis. Only Shruti. Shruti means Vedas. Vedas means Upanishad here. So through Upanishad we come to know about our own real self. Though it is all the time within us, but we are not aware. Like remember that Dashamastamasi. 10 people crossed a river and going up to the opposing side, then they thought, let us count how many people crossed over the river. And they counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 9. They were grieving. Then a wise man came and said, why are you weeping or wailing? Then they said that we have lost one of our friends. He said, no, count. They 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You are the 10th. Oh, I am the 10th. So, though this looks very odd, how foolish it is, but we forget all the time. Say suppose sometimes we put our specs here and then we search here and there. It is all the time with us. Similarly, this self is all the time with us. But somehow we are not convinced. Even if we are not convinced, we are that. So one is, we are that all the time, but it is very special when we know that I am that 10th. Even if I don't know I am the 10th, I am there. But when I come to know that I am that 10th, then we don't wail, then we don't weep. We are not miserable. So that is why we need to know this. And it is not that we are finding somewhere else. It is already within us. And what we do in our spiritual practices, we install our chosen ideal in the heart. What is that? Our real self. And our teacher says that his face should be as our face. So we try to visualize. Actually what we are doing, we are trying to see our real self within. But since, we don't want to go through this text, so teacher has made this very easy for us. Okay, meditate your chosen ideal in your heart. Heart means center of your being. And he's sitting there effulgent and also with all divine qualities. So actually it is your real self. It is our real self that we meditate on. And as we try to find out, it's like, seeing ourselves in a mirror, then a realization comes and we find it is our real self that we are seeking all the time. So this is apurvata. Then phal, what is the fruit? The result of the utility. Result is the utility of the subject matter of a section. That is self-knowledge. I am the 10th. To realize that I am the 10th. Otherwise what happens? We are suffering all the time. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. When we are established in this, then great suffering also cannot touch us. Not only touch us, we won't know that there is suffering. So this is the fruit. or its practice as mentioned at different places. So self knowledge. As for instance, in the same section, the words, the man who has got a teacher knows the Brahman. That means, as a, from a teacher, one will hear this and realize himself. And when he realizes, then all the knots of his heart is cut asunder. Hridyate hridaya grantish chiddante sarva samsaya. All doubts are gone. All impossibilities are gone. All opposing thoughts will go from us. So this is the result of it. He has to wait only till he is delivered from the body. Then he becomes united with Brahman. Here the utility of knowledge of Brahman. See what is the advantage? What is the profit? The profit is you are removed. Your suffering is removed from you. Here the utility of the knowledge of Brahman, the one without a second, is its attainment. So this is the fruit that you will attain. This is the utility. And then comes its praise. Prakarana pratipadyasya tatra tatra pramsana. So 189. Eulogy is the praising of the subject matter of the section at different places. So, it is like advertisement. If you do that, this is unique. You cannot find in the whole world. It is best in the universe. There is a fish and chips shop in Australia. Best in the universe. And people are attracted. Okay, let me taste it. So it is like that. Eulogy is very important. In our lives also we see this. We won't adopt anything until or unless we are convinced that this is the best thing. That's why we see the market where I can get maximum return from of my investment and without losing any capital. Sometimes people say, okay, you'll get 25%, but then you lose your the capital. So it is not that. We try to find out where capital is not lost, but we get return, the maximum return. So here, eulogy is the praising of the subject matter of a section at different places. As for instance, in the same section, the words, have you ever asked for that instruction by which one hears what has not been heard, one thinks what has not been thought, one knows what has not been known. Uta tam adesham apraksho yena asrutam srutam bhavati mat amatam matam vigyatam avigyatam vigyatam bhavati. So this is what that is eulogy. This is such thing that if you know this, then whatever you have not heard, you'll hear. And whatever you don't know, you'll know. So naturally our mind goes there, okay, let me know it. But it is all the time within us. So this is eulogy. Now, what is upapatti? So yukti. Yukti means rational support. If you are searching a investment way, then what will happen? They'll give, last year we got this profit and we gave say 20% or 15%. So they'll say some yukti, some um, support, intellectual support. So prakarana pratipadyasya. So let me read that. Demonstration is the reasoning in support of the subject matter of a section adduced at different places. As for instance, in the section in question, the words, my dear, as by one lump of clay, all that is made of clay is known, every modification being but an effort of speech, a name, and the clay, the only reality about it. That means vacharambhana vikara namdheya mrittika iti satyam. Yatha sommena mritpindena sarvam. So if you go to a potter's shop, then you find he has earthen potter. So he has made many pictures or various kinds of things. But all are made up of mud, earth. So if you know one, what it is made up of, or you go to goldsmith's shop, then you know everything is made up of gold. Of course, the various carats are there. So, but everything is made up of gold. So if you know one, that is why what chemists, what they do, they have analyzed, they have found certain number of elements in this world. Like hydrogen, helium, and then lithium, etc., etc. So about 108, but some are temporary also, maybe later added, say 120. So some are not stable. So the whole world is made up of these. And physicists will go to even deeper. They will say that it is all because of number of electrons and proton or neutron. So because of that, these are various, various elements. And they go further. That behind everything it is energy, and energy alone that is manifesting in so many particles, or say like strands, and so many things are there. Say electron, proton, neutron, positron, boson, and so many things. And behind that they go to basic, ultimate it is energy and energy alone. So if you know energy, if you know electron, proton, neutron, and various configuration of those, various combination of those, so you know various metals and elements. So this is the same thing here. It says, like if you know one lump of clay, then what happens? Then you know all the clay. If you know gold, then you know all the ornaments. If you know what is the composition of this air, then it is composition in the next door also. So this is knowing one thing, you know everything. That's why like when we boil rice, we don't examine one by one all the rices, but only take one or two. Okay, now it is cooked. So it is like that. Yatha sommena mritpindena sarvam minmayam vijñātam syat. Similarly, everything what we see, we are different. Why? Because we have a different name. This is chair, this is table, this is say barrier. But everything is made up of wood. If we know wood, then only what we have to know, that wood is manifesting in so many names, with so many names and forms. So vacharambhana vikaro namadheyam mrittika iti evam satyam. So this is the reasoning. Similarly, if we know that all are conscious, even matter is also manifestation of consciousness, or matter is perceived by consciousness. Matter is like a wave in my consciousness. It is consciousness on which everything is manifesting. See, I am perceiving you, you are perceiving me. How it is possible? Because I am conscious. If consciousness or this prana goes from here, then it will not perceive anything. So because I am aware, I am conscious, I am existing, therefore all this existence is in me. So this is the reasoning, that if I know myself, then I know everything, whatever is manifesting in my awareness, in my consciousness. Because everything, what is the difference? Only name and form. Otherwise it is same thing, same consciousness appearing in so many forms. Now, this hearing is to remove a bhavana. We are so engrossed in this world that we never think that something is extraordinary here. And that is not there, it is here. So abhavana. Now comes mananam. And manana, why? Because when we hear from the scripture that aham brahmasmi, then comes, no, it is not possible. How can I be Brahman? Then everything should be under me. But it is not happening. I am buffeted by so many desires, so many worries, anxieties. So it is not possible. Then comes, we have to think about it. And we have to think logically, rationally, with robust common sense. In Jnana Yoga, there is no space for like emotion. Emotion may be supporting, but one should have robust common sense and rational thinking. Uhapoha lakshana. So mananam tu shrutasya advitiya vastunaha vedantanu guna yukti bhihi anavaratam anuchintanam. So what is that? Reflection is the consistent thinking of Brahman, the one without a second, already heard about from the teacher by arguments agreeable to the purport of the Vedanta. So this is reflection. Reflection is on all the time where one has to try to inculcate this. Okay. Reflection is the constant thinking of Brahman, and one without a second. So how to think? That is why our teacher says, okay, meditate. And whenever you have time, just recite the mantra. Remind yourself that you are not ordinary person. You are a divine person. That you have to remind yourself. So this is mananam. Mananam tu shrutasya advitiya vastuna. So whatever we have heard, what is unique. So by yukti, anuguna yukti bhihi anavaratam anuchintanam. So ours is devotional way. What we do, we try to cultivate through our devotion, there it is, say, our emotion is at work. But Vedantin, the, those who are following knowledge, they go through intellectual pursuit. But it is for us, emotion is very helpful. As we love something, we love this whole world. We love our books, our properties, our money, and this, that. So, what happens? We have to divert that love to our chosen ideal. Because all this will go away. Money will go away. Properties will go away. Even relatives will go away. Even this body will go away. This mind will go away. Everything will go away, but not my real self, my chosen ideal. That is why we need to cultivate this all the time. Vedanta anuguna yukti bhihi anavaratam anuchintaram. Anavaratam means all the time. It is not continual. Like in Chaitanya prayer, the translation is continuous, continual. Continual means do something and then break. Then again, it is like breathing. You breathe sometime and then stop breathing. Maybe for one day, holiday for breathing. Then it's gone. That's why it is continuous, incessantly. Incessantly. So anuguna, that is why this to be cultivated all the time. Our chosen ideal to be meditated on all the time. We have to recite his name all the time. Then what will happen to our worldly things? Yes, that will be lessened gradually. So this is Mananam. Now, let me read it again and then we'll go forward. Reflection is the constant thinking of Brahman. Brahman here, what we say, as soon as we say Brahman, that means somewhere else. No, it's our real self. We have to think, what is my real self? It is all, say like Swajatiya, Vijatiya and Swagata Bhed Shunna. Swajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bhed means, as we find cow and horses are different. So this is Vijatiya. Vijatiya means two different categories. And sometimes we find in the same category there are differences. Like human being, some are tall, some are black, some are, so many varieties are there. So Swajatiya Bhed. And Swagata Bhed means like I have hands, limbs, and then I have head. These are, though it is my part, my body part, but it has certain differences. So my real self is bereft of all differences. It has no another competitor. And not only there is no competitor, it is the unique one. Ekam eva advitiyam. It is. So this is to remove all kinds of distinction or differences. So this is what is Mananam. Now, Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya Rahita Advitiya Vastu Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaha Nididhyasanam. Now, that it is Angushta Matra Purusham. See, like this in a thumbnail or at the center of our being. When two people are there and somebody is asking, calling someone from distance, what we do? We say, are you calling me? Are you calling me? We don't say, are you calling me? Or are you calling me? It goes directly here. So this is the place where our center of being. So, विजातीय देहादि प्रत्यय रहित अद्वितीय वस्तु सजातीय प्रत्यय प्रवाहो निदिध्यासनम. So, all one time, one kind of pratyay. Pratyay means conviction. Meditation is a stream of ideas of the same kind as those of Brahman, the one without a second, to the exclusion of such foreign ideas as those of the body, mind, etc. What I said, Swajatiya, Vijatiya and Swagata Bhedashunya. In me, I am the one. We also feel. If I say, oh, you are not one, then he says, no, Swami, sorry, you have other business, you do better you do those. I know I am one. And the person who has two different sets of minds, they have that name. What is that name? Who are like crazy. Crazy people. So say like there is a particular name for that. So anyway, with David, split personality. Split personality. Sometimes he thinks this, I am this, and sometimes, oh, I am gone. I cannot do this. So people has like that split personalities also. That is why we need to concentrate there, where there is no difference, when there is no Swajatiya, Vijatiya and any different kind of divisions. So, meditation is a stream of ideas of same kind as those of Brahman, the one without a second, to the exclusion of such foreign ideas as those of the body, etc. So now comes Samadhi. So now, what I was going to say, Angushta Matra Purushaha Antaratma Sada Jananam Hriday Avasthita Hriday Sannivishta Tvam Swat Sharirat Prabrihena Munjadive Ishika Dharyena. That means it is like this. There is a munja grass. And what we do in our childhood, we used to do that. We very carefully we have to pull it so that it's not broken. So one should be careful. And to find that what is within us. That is why one should take the help of logic and we take the help of emotion to find out who is this that is sitting within me. And ultimately we find, oh, it is my real self. So this is the Tam Swat Sharirat Prabrihena Munjad Iveshikam Tam Vidyan Sukram Amritam. And if you know, then what happens? Then you become pure. And Amritam, immortal. Shukram Amritam iti. Not only once, Upanishad says, twice. Says, you will become pure. You will be pure because your nature is pure. Not only pure, immortal. And with this conviction, it says that you are that. So that is why, and no need of searching here and there. One has to search within. So what is there? Astityeva upalabdhasya. Astityeva upalabdhabhyah tattva bhavena chobhayo. Astityeva upalabdhasya tattva bhava prasidati. So this is to be to be realized as existing. As of now, we think, no, 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 there is nothing my real self. This is my apparent self, this is enough. But actually, this is to be realized. And that can be realized astityeva upalabdhasya tattva bhava. Tattva bhava means when we meditate on us, then only we realize it. If we are all the time um, beholden by social media or this world, then we cannot realize it. So, as we dive deep within, then only we can realize it. So, we'll stop here. After comes Samadhi. So, before going to Samadhi, we can have a break. Okay. Any question?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
How can we control the thoughts in the mind?
Okay. Why you want to control? It's like, you want to control the waves of the ocean. So we are devotees. We are, though talking knowledge, okay, that also is there. If you know that these are temporary, this has no real existence, you will not give importance. And if you don't give importance to those thoughts, then it will subside by itself. Say, what happens? You think of your past. Oh, last year I did this, so because of that I had to suffer. And maybe this year I should think about, rectifying those mistakes. So this kind of thoughts means when we entertain thoughts, then it increases. It is like adding fuel to fire. That is why it is said anavarata. All the time one should contemplate the real self. What is that? Vedanta anuguna yukti bhihi anavarta anuchintanam. That is why that Bhakti Yoga will tell that meditate on God within you all the time. Not break. It's like, okay, there is a holiday for breathing. Then you are gone. You cannot take a holiday. Even the border of a country is protected 24/7 by 365 all the time. They are alert. If anything crosses, immediately, say 2 aircraft will fly. So it is not with a break. It is all the time. So as you think about yourself, then all other thoughts will go away. So that will be a break. That means when you don't entertain something, those will subside. This is from Jnana Yoga standpoint. From Bhakti Yoga standpoint, what we do? Why to negate? Rather, we are to deify. We are doing the same thing. Say, suppose a gentleman has come, he's totally unknown to me. So what we need to think? That is God who has come in this form. Bahurupe sammukhe tomar chhadi kota khojiche Ishwar. In various forms, it is God who is approaching you. Leaving him aside where thou seekest God. So this is from Bhakti standpoint. Bhakti does not preclude or exclude anything. It takes everything, but it deifies. So thoughts, suppose your thoughts are coming, those thoughts are to be deified. You cannot control your thoughts. It is like controlling the waves of the ocean. Therefore, it is better to think it is everything is God. It's a beautiful scenery, and the Jnana Yogi will not look at it. It's totally merged in self. Bhakti Yogi will say, okay, very good. It's a God's manifestation in so many forms. Fine. Yes, both are fine. So one has to deify. So that's one way, or one has to not to entertain such thoughts. But what you don't want to entertain, that will come over and over again. So, not to negate, rather concentrate on your path, on yourself. And self is all the time available with you. You know, when you see outside and praise, oh, it's everything is God, but sometimes you falter. But here, though it is difficult, but faltering will be less. But it is difficult because we have mind, and mind is full of thoughts. It's difficult to control. Therefore, for us, it is easier to deify. But Jnana Yogi is not. He's like a, oh, he's carrying an open sword. Like Sri Ramakrishna praised Narendranath. He's holding an open sword. Khap khola talwar. But for other people like Brahmanandji or say Premanandji, Sri Ramakrishna said, no, 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 let them follow their path. Today is the birth anniversary of Swami Abhedanandaji Maharaj. So he was a great yogi, and Sri Ramakrishna said that it is his last birth, and he was a great yogi in his previous birth. So, for a yogi, he wants to meditate. So that's why he earned a name, Kali Tapasvi or Kali Vedanti, because he used to argue and say contemplate on Vedas, Vedanta, Kali Vedanti. So, what is the point? Point is, those who are contemplative, they can concentrate on their own self, not to entertain the worldly thoughts. For bhaktas, because most of us, we are bhaktas, then we have to deify. We have to try to find everything is God and be careful, because sometimes we may falter. So God will help us because we are bhaktas and we all the time take shelter at His feet. So He protects. Because if you take shelter with someone, he has that duty, and God cannot derelict His duty. Okay?
Thank you.
Anything else?
Can the mantra help control the thoughts?
Right. That is what you are doing. Eka tattva abhyas. You are practicing one tattva. Tattva means one thing, one say goal. And when you are practicing that, all other thoughts are going away. And when you open your eyes, you have to see that it is God who is manifesting in so many forms. You cannot shut your eyes all the time. You have to come and enter the books, etc., in the computer and sweep the ground. So that time I'm sweeping ground of Holy Mother. that we have to think. It's divine. If you are just sweeping, then it won't work.
Unify the act of sweeping.
Anything, even eating. Yat karoshi, yadashnashi, yat juhoshi, dadasi yat tapasvasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever we do, whatever we eat, that we have to offer to God. And also, we have to think that it is God who is manifesting in so many forms. Okay.
Maharaj, we are offering to God, but we are eating ourselves.
No. While eating, you have to think that I am offering to God. You know, once it happened, a lady came to Dakshineshwar, and that time Sri Ramakrishna was eating. But she saw that uh, Ananta Nag, like this, with hood raised. Whatever Sri Ramakrishna was eating, the Ananta Nag was eating. So
Offering.
she asked, "Are you eating or you are feeding?" She could understand. So this is the way, you know. You can practice. While eating, think that I am offering. Rather, you'll get better taste. I can assure it. Otherwise, what happens? We talk about the whole world and we gulp somehow. We don't taste. But when you are offering, your attention will be there. Yeah, while eating, you are offering, you know, God is sitting within. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Asrita. I am Vaishwanara. So, what we do? We are offering that. Like we are offering in the fire. Oblation is offered in the fire. Similarly, food is offered to Vaishwanara. Praninam Deham Asrita. So, this is, how to eat. And, some people even chant the name of God.
Maharaj,
Hmm?
the Chaitanya is reflecting on Buddhi, right? And that's how we
That's
are
why you are understanding. Also, I am speaking.
discrimination.
So, this is regarding worldly objects. Say, I am seeing this. My attention is there, and then it covers this and makes an impression. So, buddhi tatsthitau. So, buddhi and in it the reflection of consciousness. So, this we perceive with the help of two things. One is mental modification, and that mental modification is identified by the reflection of consciousness in my intellect. But in the case of Brahmajnana, when one is trying, say visualizing your chosen ideal, when he will reveal himself, your intellect cannot reveal him. Because intellect is illumined by him. So when you are meditating, you are trying to perceive, you are trying to realize. That is required. That you do through your mind, intellect. But revelation comes by itself.
Mm.
Their mind cannot function. Because mind is only reflection. And he is the source of reflection. So it merges. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you.
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaste.
কাকে জানি ওই যশটাকে আমাকে বলে দিতে হবে।